Hello and welcome back to Celebrity Big Brother Breakdown. You are here. It's been the weekend. I'm all refreshed. I'm ready for a new week.
Are you ready for a whole new round of breakdowns?
So many breakdowns this week I can see coming, and that's just with me and you. So never mind the podcast, never mind all of those celebrities in there. I feel like we've missed out on a lot of action from Friday night, and there's been a lot of people moaning about that. You know, the eviction, it just takes away, 20 odd hours we don't get back because we lose out on Saturday.
Yeah.
Where is all that footage?
I completely agree, because it's like... all of that happens, we don't get to talk about it. And then I came in this morning desperate to talk to you about how brilliant the cop challenge was. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, yeah, but we've already not talked about Gary's eviction. We've already not talked about Late and Live. Yeah. So, hey, look, I'm already having my first breakdown.
But the cop challenge, you're right. Wow, that was one of my favourite challenges, I think. Because sometimes I get bored. Like, I would rather, to be honest, just watch Sharon bitching. Like, I would love to just 100%. Have the whole hour full of that.
Yeah.
But actually, the cop challenge made me like David a lot more.
Yes.
It really made me warm to him.
Made me like Zizi.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it really played to their strengths. It really showed them both in a really lovely, joyful, light. Really good in terms of their profile, I think.
Yeah.
David, he was so excited. It was so
he would be
sweet.
He's not good at challenges though. For instance, being in the diary room and he knows Zizi's right outside and he's screaming. It's like you're going to be able to hear something's going on. He had to recruit her really because he'd given the game away within seconds.
Yeah,
like, that's just what he'd done.
He was also potentially struggling in that challenge because he had to wear trousers.
Well, I'm sorry, but I think that's actually the reason I kind of like him now. Like with his trousers on, I really like him. Without trousers on, I can't stop staring at his legs. I'm like, no. With trousers, he's brilliant.
It's like the opposite of I don't recognise you with your clothes on. It's like I don't like you with clothes on. Bless him. I thought it was really good because it really... it was just so much fun.
Yeah.
And I think that in the Channel 5 days of Big Brother, they really lent into what felt like quite savage challenges. And it was all about creating more drama. And I think that what producers for ITV's version of Big Brother have done, and they did it really well with the civilian one, is recognise that the challenges was where they can bring some fun in. And I just thought it was so brilliant. Lauren taking it all so seriously.
She really did. She did. She was great.
I loved it when David was like, oh, can we all just have 5 minutes outside, because they needed to do the taking the fingers out the box, which is a very strange sentence to say in isolation. And Lauren was like, I'll tell everyone. I've decided that it's time that we should, you've all been doing really well.
She really got into it. But it kind of harps back to the Channel 4 more social experiment side of things, where they would be locked in, the jail time, when it would be like they would be getting the prisoners' food.
Rich house, poor house.
Yes, that kind of vibe. And it was just incredible how quickly people went into those roles. And that's the side of Big Brother I do really like and I'm interested in, because it's like, right, for instance, if I hold a clipboard, I just walk differently. Like, I just start strutting. Just gives me power.
How often do you hold a clipboard?
I know, I don't think I do enough.
Do they even sell clipboards anymore?
Okay, maybe I'll change it to like a notepad. But just when you've got some sort of authority.
Yeah.
Like, if you were
it's like Monica on Friends at the wedding.
Yeah, the headset.
When she put the headset on.
Something like that.
Go.
It just makes you, like, it just goes to my head instantly. So I'm a complete sucker for it. And when I watch everyone else in these challenges and how quickly they adapt to their environment, and they end up just really believing their own hype. Like, Lauren was just the head of the police. Like, she's... She's the police commissioner for the UK now, I think. In her mind.
God help us all.
Oh, for sure.
I can't leave this topic without giving a shout out to Nikita slowly going mad.
Nikita, would a policeman actually write their name on their face? Okay?
He really did. He lost the plot, didn't he? He lost it, and then Lauren was like, "I'm sorry, that's not how we are as
that's not appropriate
policemen and women."
In my precinct, we don't write our name on our face.
He's been really refreshing. It's been nice to see a different side to him. He's quite different to maybe what I thought. I loved him.
He in his social media presence during his time with Leighton on Strictly, you saw this glimpse of him being really quirky, and I think there's a reason why he is the Strictly dancer that got cast, because obviously, let's face it, there's a whole there's so many of them. They could have chosen one that was single. I think that was something we've talked about before, how there's no one hunky in there for Ekin-Su, you know, if they wanted to go down the romance route. And I think they chose Nikita because he has got these like layers.
They purposely don't want it to be romantic, this series, don't they? And they've made it more about a big friendship group, and it's the more oldies, young ones.
Yeah, defo. But I think they've done that so brilliantly, because we are pulling out loads of different opinions on hot topics of the day. That wouldn't necessarily happen if they had a group of young, sexy people in there. So what I'm specifically thinking about is the combo they had last night about OnlyFans. And I just thought this was so interesting, because you've got Lauren just being a very real voice for women. You know, hey, we can earn a lot of money through our bodies. There's nothing to be ashamed about that. You know, the financial freedom that she found through being on Real Housewives, which some people look down on. And then you've got Ekin-Su, who is like, even if I could earn £1 million, I would never do that. And I just think it's such an interesting debate, isn't it?
I was surprised about Ekin-Su's stance on that, to be honest. It was really... No, that's an absolute no. I mean, if she, imagine it doesn't go great for her after Celebrity Big Brother, and then she gets offered to do OnlyFans and maybe just starts taking it more seriously, and we're going to play that clip forever of her completely slamming it, not even counterbalancing it, which I would, which is maybe something that I wouldn't do, but I think if you want to do that, go for it. But she was really shutting it down.
I'd rather have £0 than £1 million doing it the wrong way.
Well,
but
£1 million or £11 an hour.
Would you do OnlyFans if you had what to do?
Like last night when she was talking about girls that go on OnlyFans and stuff like that, I just thought that, I don't know, it's like, OnlyFans isn't for me. I wouldn't do OnlyFans, but you know what? Good luck to everyone that does it. Do you know what I mean? The way that, I don't know, does she think she's better than everyone? Maybe, but really, really judgmental. You know, it's each their own. If everyone's got a right to do what they want. You know, something that's not illegal in their life to do what they want. And I do think she is really judgmental. You know, there's a lot of people that would be like, oh, I wouldn't go on Love Island, you know. And I noticed something on social media, you know, someone saying, oh, you know, Ekin-Su says that she wouldn't do OnlyFans, but she's okay to like flaunt her body and like, you know, be under the covers with somebody and like kissing somebody and like exchanging bodily fluids with someone on national TV, you know. So it's quite like, she can't really criticise too much, and also don't like God, it sounds like I'm really hating on her. I'm not, but I also don't like the way that it's like, I don't know, she's young, she's pretty. If she doesn't know it, she should know it, because she is she's a beautiful girl, and she's already like said to Fern Britton, you know, oh, why don't you borrow one of my bikinis, you know, as if Fern Britton's going to put on Ekin-Su bikini. I mean, no, it's a bit like, I don't know what the word is, but like as if she's going to do that. And then also last night she, you know, asking Sharon Osbourne if she'd do OnlyFans. Do you know what I mean? It's like these two women are over the age of like 60, you know, maybe Sharon's over 70, I don't know, but they're older women, as if they're going to get a bikini on and get in a hot tub, as if Sharon's it. And I know it was probably a flippant question, like, would you do OnlyFans? But you just don't ask them two women the question. Do you know what I mean? There's questions. I just don't think there's very much respect there. And I know if it was my mum, who is the same age as Fern Britton, if it was my mum and I had Ekin-Su saying to my mum, oh, borrow one of my bikinis, it's like, I don't know what the word is. It's like, you know, Ekin-Su's this beautiful girl with a beautiful body. And like Fern Britton said, you know, she's going to be tucking in her boobs and rolling her. Do you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know, she just knows that she's stunning. I don't know. But she's making great telly. Do you know what? Like, this is what we want Big Brother for.
I mean, I know that we recently at The Sun had a chat with one of our showbiz reporters, Jack Hardwick, spoke with Sarah Jane Dunn, who obviously, former Hollyoaks star, who ended up having to quit the soap because of OnlyFans. They wouldn't let her remain on there while she still had that platform. And still to this day, she only posts on that site what she would post on her Instagram. So it's still lingerie, bikinis, but, you know, nothing graphic or sexual. Sure. And she has made an incredible amount of money, and she feels that in no way has she had to change her boundaries or anything. And I completely agree. Like, Ekin's stance felt very hardline for
a bit
someone,
archaic as well when she's so young,
and for someone who love Ekin but is in that house because she wore a bikini on TV. And there's nothing to be ashamed of that.
Yeah.
And I think we've talked about this before, you know, how Ekin's trying to like completely shed all the Love Island roots. I wondered whether this was her being like, oh, I should have an opinion on this. And new Ekin doesn't approve of that.
And new Ekin's got an older mindset because she's hanging out with the older ones in there.
Yeah.
But it just felt, I don't like that kind of debate when it turns into, oh, well, I wouldn't do that now, but actually look back at their own history. Someone's got to start somewhere, or someone doesn't have the option of whether they can do something or not.
100%.
But we can have a few chats with people on this podcast about, you know, their take on OnlyFans and whether they've been on it. Because it's interesting to get everyone's opinion. And that's what was great, was just hearing all of them together collectively talk about it. With Lauren, what did make me laugh was her just praising Sharon for like a good 20 minutes about how much she loved her on her reality show and everything, for then Sharon just to turn around and completely slate Real Housewives. It was absolutely savage from Sharon. Like, it was just like, no, I can't stand them all. This is just like anti what women should be like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Lauren's face was just not happy.
Oh,
she looked really taken
broke her
aback.
heart.
Yeah, she did look really upset about
I know. I felt like Lauren had a good ep last night. I thought it was quite good. She's bounced back after the eviction and all that kind of thing. What I thought was interesting about Gary's, everything that he's spoken about since, I don't know whether you've seen, he's really laid into Ekin-Su.
Yeah.
So similar kind of thing that we've spoken about he thinks she's playing a complete game, and he says he respects her for it. You know, it is a game show after all, and he says that she is aligning herself with the right people. She's making sure if something fun's happening, she's involved in it, but if something controversial's happening, that she's not involved in it. That she's really thinking about her messaging and all that kind of thing. So that's interesting. And he says he particularly has doubled down on that opinion since watching everything back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but then the person that he said that he's changed his opinion of since watching everything back is David.
Yeah.
And I now think that we're going to have a bit of a dark horse situation with David. And I think he is going to come out of this incredibly well. I mean, God willing, nothing happens. But, yeah, I think he's had a real boost in popularity.
Yeah, it just depends whether if people turn on him for the kind of annoying habits that we kind of do love about him, it makes him insane, but to live with it 24/7 in a confined space, I imagine is difficult.
I've got something really juicy to tell you about tonight's episode, but I'm going to leave you on tenterhooks for a little bit longer, because what I have to get off my chest is Louis. And I know we've said this before, but the reason why I bring it up now is because I think David has clocked onto this, is what I'm calling Louis's big verdict. So he is a reality judge through and through.
Yeah.
You cannot mention a celebrity in that house without Louis giving his big verdict. So just on last night's show, I jotted down a couple of mentions. So Sharon was talking about Cyndi Lauper, and someone said, oh, I love Cyndi Lauper. Everyone does. She's very talented, says Louis. Sharon brought up Jack the Ripper, and I was half expecting Louis to be like, yeah, not a nice man. But then they talked about Trump. Not a nice man. They talked about Trump, and yeah, complete fraud, liar, egomaniac.
Yeah.
Sharon says, oh, but his wife's lovely. Yep, she's lovely, very intelligent. And honestly, now I've mentioned this, you are not going to be able to see past. If it was a drinking game, Louis's big verdict, oh my God, we should trademark this right now.
We'll be sloshed.
Everyone
by the end
would
of the
be
episode.
sloshed by the end of the episode.
But also I think that he's doing that, but it's based on who he's talking to. So if they did, if they had said something positive about Trump, which Ekin-Su appeared to almost do, I think he would have sided with her. He seems to sort of have an opinion based on his audience there, and he kind of weighs it, don't you think?
Yeah.
He doesn't really kind of go against the grain anyway. He's like, yeah. I don't think he's letting anyone actually finish a story without him interjecting and adding in either that he's met them, what he thinks of them, his big verdict. And that is so irritating and so incredibly joyful at the same time. I'm just obsessed with him, like how he doesn't have any awareness of it at all. He is my favourite because he's just giving so much. Even the scream when Lauren woke him up. It's just amazing.
That's your big verdict on Louis.
Yes.
But I wanted to ask you, because you're very up on your politics, and it feels like they're talking about Trump quite a lot, and Trump's back, isn't he? Like, do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing that debate is now crossing into reality TV? Does it matter? What do you think the impact is?
I think it has a huge impact, but I think it's really dangerous because for instance, that conversation, Ekin-Su, you did hear her, I can't remember exactly how she put it, but it was like, oh, I actually think, and it just sounded like she was going to be quite pro-Trump or say something positive about one of his characteristics. But Sharon interjected, a couple of them started getting involved, and then it went down the negative route, and she didn't, at least in the edit, it wasn't seen that she was saying anything positive about it, and she remained silent. And I do worry that if she had actually gone through with saying something positive, because of the audience of Big Brother, Celebrity Big Brother, it's very likely that she would have got a lot of hate, a lot of abuse for that, because politics does divide and it's very tribal. So for Ekin to put her neck out on the line, I would say would be to defend Trump, because she kind of would understand actually the backlash that she could possibly get, despite him being hugely popular in a lot of the parts of the US and here. But it would put her at risk of offending a lot of people.
Yeah, presumably, and I can't quite remember what she said, and I think that, like you say, you're right to point out, she wasn't like, I love him, he's great. No. But obviously she's spent a lot of time with American celebs recently. She was on The Traitors with a whole bunch of them. So she may be a little bit more involved in, the different debates and pros and cons and all that kind of thing. But she's not presumably coming at this as someone who has read into US politics. She presumably doesn't know too much about the ramifications of what him being re-elected would mean. And
but that's what worries me about it generally as a discussion point, because I don't believe that every celebrity who has these discussions genuinely doesn't like Trump or doesn't agree with his policies. I think it's just it's a nicer person or a nicer image you want to portray to come across that you don't like Trump. It's an easy win, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially as a woman, because of everything like what Sharon was saying about the way that he treats women.
So that was when she said, if you look like the kind of woman that he likes, he will talk to you.
If you're offering him something. And so if a woman was at that point to say, oh no, I really like him, I think it would bring backlash. Whereas if it's an easy win to jump in and say, oh yeah, he's absolute trash, he's this and that, and it gets you votes, but whether or backup or popularity. But if it doesn't, I mean, that moment it just felt like you're doing it for a reason. Are you being genuine in that, or are you thinking, how is this being represented? How will people see me at home?
Yeah. Oh, it's so interesting. Really, really interesting. And I think it's well, I think as the whole narrative around Taylor Swift being involved in politics, it's like, it's great for people to have a voice and opinion, but
some people are so obsessed with the person, like the star, that they then choose their politics based on what their star thinks, their celebrity, who they are a fan of. The other thing I want to say about Ekin-Su is just how, I don't know what you think about it being divided, whether she's playing a game or she's being edited as a villain.
Oh, a very good point. A very, very good point, because, of course, we have to remember that. But I do think the one thing that we have for Big Brother that we don't have from any other show is the live feed. Now, yes, to a certain extent, we still get shown what we're shown on that, but I think that adds more layers, and I think that we do get quite fun Ekin in that.
Very much so, yeah.
But on the other hand, that does mean that you have that to compare with main show Ekin, and I agree that she isn't potentially getting as much of that fun vibe on there.
No, because she keeps getting into kind of big topics.
Yeah.
Also, my personal highlight of this series so far actually involves Ekin-Su, which is her just at every opportunity telling us she's not just a pretty face. It's like, right, we get it, you're attractive. You know you're attractive. She just keeps saying it. Just keep saying it over and over again. It really tickles me because why have you brought that up?
We
You
should
need to
add
try and
that
be
to the drinking
humble.
game.
No, honestly, she's said it a good few
But-
times now. Last night was a classic.
Why does she need to be humble?
Yeah, no, true. That is true. Yeah. I don't know. There is something about it just being a bit like.
No, I get you.
so,
I'm just being
upfront,
pedantic.
isn't it? Yeah. It's just a bit like, jeez. All right, Ekin, we get it.
You just looked at me
get
like,
it.
why are you being so argumentative today, Flick? Be humble. But I've got to tell you the things that I thought were really funny because we've had some heavy chat here. Did you see on Late and Live last night when Yasmin Evans was one of the panellists and she was in the camera run doing the spying on the housemates thing and got rumbled. They all saw her there, heard her there, and it cracked me up because she fell to the floor, was devastated.
It's so spooky, that, isn't it? That they were just there.
Oh gosh.
You are very close.
I need to.
Oh no! Oh no! You've been rumbled! You've been rumbled! Abort!
Gosh. Oh my
Yasmin, get back here! Shut the curtain!
And I was a bit like, are these mirrors not as robust as they used to be?
Yeah.
Like, should we fundamentally question the structure of the Big Brother house? Because how has this never happened before? And why is this happening now? Detective Devlin,
Well, I think
I want
Detective
you on
Devlin-
this.
I think I can already answer it because I've actually spoken to previous housemates who have said that you do get so locked in on that of that it's just us, you forget about the cameras, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But then you'll just see this flash of someone walk by. It could be that they've got their phone or there's a light or something that's gone past, and then it creates a shadow. And there's like
Oh.
constant kind of reminders. So it's not a new thing. There are people, but I think she was just talking really loudly, and she was right next to the window, and they were super close, weren't they?
Yeah.
So it just made it even worse. But her reaction was priceless.
I loved
There's
it.
been some great moments on Late and Live, I have to say, this series. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And we had the chat about, was this on the live stream about the Danny Minogue as well?
Oh,
That was, people have been talking about that. So Danny Minogue and Sharon Osbourne have famously feuded. You know, they are, you know, arch enemies, aren't they, really?
Yeah, they're one of showbiz folklore's most famous feuds, really.
Well, you're not quite disappointed by the description of it all, actually. She was like, oh, she's all right. Sharon was like, after all that, you know, when you know that there's been huge bust-ups between them.
I hate to say it about Mrs. O, but it made me feel like, did these women just ham that up? For her to be like, she was all right.
Yeah, it just was like, really? Was it not that big a
Did you
deal?
just lean into that? I mean,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah, they just didn't. They weren't going to be best friends. But then even, who was Cheryl on with? Was that Danny as well? I remember being shocked. God, this is years ago. But I remember when Cheryl was on, I think she was on with Danny or Nicole Scherzinger and someone...
Or to Lisa?
Oh, maybe Talise. Oh, God, we need to actually look this up. We need to do some research one time.
Oh, my God.
So she basically, they didn't have each other's phone number. I know it's a small thing, but it just shows that you are just literally going in, sitting at your desk, and that's it. There's no community. Like afterwards,
That's like you and me.
we don't talk at all
Yeah,
after
no.
this. Half an hour out the door.
Yeah.
Until next time.
It's already too long, Amanda.
But if something happened when you're filming, I'd be texting you straight afterwards and be like, right, what did you think of that? Like,
Yeah.
you'd send jokes. I just think it shows that they're
Yeah.
obviously not friends.
Defo.
And Sharon, I can imagine going into an environment and actually wanting a friendship out of it, you
Yeah.
know, and we saw her take it all very personally about Simon cutting her off or
Yeah.
not offering his friendship.
I've got a theory.
Yep.
So from everything that we're hearing about the culture on Simon Cowell's shows. I wonder whether it suited Simon for none of them to really get on.
Oh, yeah. And I found it super interesting in that conversation between Louis and Sharon in the bedroom, which I've watched so many times because it's just so juicy, of her explaining how it was kind of working behind the scenes. And obviously we do get a taste of that, but it is difficult to... listening to her say it in such a genuine way of like, she's the person that didn't get a call from Simon.
Yeah.
And she was devastated by that. She was sacked, had turned down The Masked Singer or not auditioned for it.
Yeah.
And then been expecting her friend to call and say, I'm really sorry, but actually we've gone in a different direction.
Yeah.
And then she basically said that he was the one pushing that agenda of the girls being too old and needing fresh faces, not surgically, but new people in.
Sharon, you're fine, but just go get yourself a new face.
I think that's what she did, and she was like, "Oh, you didn't mean me with a fresh face. You meant you meant someone else." But don't you think it's really interesting, all of that side of it, of like actually that the bad headlines that you see are sometimes like what's the saying? No such thing as bad press.
That's
it. Because actually all of that stuff was contributing to us all being really gripped by Simon's shows, because it was like they were all feuding, they were all warring.
I mean, do we really care about someone rocking up and singing a cover of a Westlife song? Probably not.
Yeah.
We're there for the beef, aren't we?
There for the beef. Do you think we're going to get any more beef out of our celebrity housemates?
Oh yeah, defo. One thing that I have learnt though is that a lot of people have obviously been saying, how are they even airing some of these things? And I am hearing that it is causing quite a bit of overtime behind the scenes of now there is no third party approval on Big Brother. So at no point has Kensington Palace, for example, had any kind of say on what was aired from Gary. Similarly, even though ITV and Simon Cowell are like this, Simon Cowell isn't getting any approval on anything, which I think is really refreshing. But certainly there's a lot of like backroom, are we going to be okay to put this on air and all that kind of thing? And I think a lot of people are like, oh my God, are ITV just like running riot with what they're airing?
But then it is their opinion.
Exactly.
They're entitled to that free speech.
Exactly.
If Sharon thinks that Adele hams it up, then that's her opinion on it, and that's that.
Exactly.
I am all for... I just honestly, that the fans making up that crowdfunder to try and keep Sharon in the house longer.
Yeah.
I really wish that we had loads of money to put behind that, because that would be so great.
She might be having a lovely time.
I think she is having a lovely
She
time.
might have a phone call with Ozzy and be like, he's all right, do you know what, I'll stay a bit longer. Yeah. I think she's having a lovely time.
I think she is. She just seems to get on with most people. She's enjoying it. And then she goes off to her bedroom and has chats with Ozzy. What more does she want?
I know.
It's perfect.
So did you see that also Gary confirmed a Celebrity Big Brother Breakdown podcast exclusive? Huge news that it was. That David performed so badly in the horse racing challenge because he injured himself twerking and slut dropping. I was like, yes, as revealed first.
Yeah, I wish he'd actually added that in. We could have got a plug from you, Gary.
Yeah,
that would have been nice.
God.
But I did notice David walking down the stairs yesterday during the cop challenge, and he was limping. So he's still in pain, isn't he? You could see him really struggling going down the stairs.
Yeah, oh my God.
More on the Gary exit. What do you feel... Will he be happy with how he did coming out of it? He did keep saying he's done what he wanted to do. Do you think he actually did?
No, of course not. I think that he definitely would have... God, probably more than anyone, he wanted to come out as the winner. He wanted this moment, he wanted his flowers. He wanted to feel like a celebrity. He's almost like the... Chantelle 2.0 of going in as a non-celebrity and coming out a celebrity. What he needed to do is pretend to be a pop star.
He did. Candy with a K.
No, I don't know. But look, fingers crossed we'll be hearing more from Gary this week.
Well, he's already been given some great little tidbits about Kate Middleton. Obviously, there's a whole conspiracy theory thing at the moment because of that picture that was released on Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And Kate has herself... I can't believe I said Kate. Sorry. Princess Kate, has come out and said, that she was editing it and that's why it kind of looked like that. Gary's being grilled on it and what he thinks has gone on, and he's had to say, I actually haven't spoken to Kate for years.
Yeah, funny that.
And they only speak when it's either funerals or birthdays or something. I thought, that's really tragic.
Do you think that the WhatsApp
you
chat...
just made your hair go across? There we go.
Oh, thank you so much.
That's nice.
I was going to say, when... do you think that the chat between Gary and Kate on the phone, probably not even taken to WhatsApp, it's probably just like iMessage?
Oh, it's definitely an iMessage,
and it's all just like messages from Gary. Happy birthday, babe.
There's no reply.
Have a great one. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
And then you can claim that you're in touch, but actually you're not at all. Yeah, I do feel quite sorry for him. It's because it's really clinging on to something that actually he's not part of. But
I don't know why I'm pulling a sad face. I don't know any of these people.
I do wonder whether how much he'll be looked after by Kensington Palace now, because when he's now out and maybe sees that actually nothing's really been achieved and they might want to spill more, does he then go for it? He knows that Kate's not been in touch and been like, well done, Uncle Gary, you've done brilliantly. And maybe he feels like he actually wants to that's what I'm worried about, that he might actually start really
up until now, Kensington Palace have essentially let him, they've not been involved in any of his press, they've not been involved, as I said, in improving anything. So what, you think they might strap the muzzle on the Bunkle Bulldog?
I think they might worry that potentially...
I don't know.
Because he's really... It's different being in the house. Now he's just out and doing interviews with us. It's big.
It's big.
Big deal.
Right, do you want me to tell you what's happening tonight?
Mm-hmm. I've heard something about nominations and quite some shocks.
Yep. So late in live, they talked about how... they shared some of the nominations, so we know that Louis nominates Fern. He says that she's fine and she's making cups of tea, but she's just there like wallpaper.
Savage from Louis.
Savage. Unsurprisingly savage.
Yeah.
And then Lauren nominates David. She says she's not feeling any warmth from him. Mm-hmm. Not surprised, because he's probably cold through the lack of leg wear. Dad's joke.
A body temperature thing.
Yeah. And then we also learned from Late Night that Sharon will be watching the nominations.
This is brilliant.
Now, I can reveal that basically this has huge consequences, as you can imagine. So essentially what happens on tonight's show is Big Brother reveals the housemate who has received the most votes. Mm-hmm. Sharon then can save one of them, but has to choose someone to take their place. So it's another killer nomination, essentially, from Sharon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that woman has had such tremendous power in that house.
And rightly so. The Queen. Oh, goodness. That's going to really shake things up then.
Yeah, because I think that they all quite rightly recognised that they needed to gravitate around Sharon, and were anyway. But
I don't think anything's fake, like trying to please her. I think she's just a legend.
A legend, spent time with, yeah. But then I was trying to think, when I found this out this morning, who doesn't Sharon like? Do you think it's still Zizi?
I think it's Zizi. I think potentially... I don't think David's her favourite person. I think she could take or leave him.
Yeah.
And Lauren, I don't feel like she's... Even though they chat a lot, I don't think she's sold on her.
Really? So you think that we could get Lauren up again? Gosh, she would spiral.
Oh, she'd have a proper celebrity Big Brother breakdown.
Yeah. Not just like our...
No.
breakdown.
So do you think it will be a head-to-head again then?
I don't
because
know.
of
It
that?
sounds like it might be.
Because that sounds as if,
Yeah.
God, it's nerve-wracking when it's head-to-head like that.
I know. So that will be Tuesday night.
Okay.
That we'll see that. So that's tomorrow night. So we'll see that conversation happen tonight, and then the eviction is Tuesday night.
Sure.
So we're rattling through. We're halfway through now.
Yeah, I'm really pleased because The Sun had reported that the big change to this series was going to be that it's going to be two evictions a week. And so the nominations are just coming fast and furious, aren't they? And I think it makes a real difference to the house because everyone's on edge.
Yeah.
I mean, there were so many tears in the last nominations. Everyone broke down.
Yeah.
So with it happening again so soon and just fresh off the back of someone leaving, they're more into it. They're probably a bit more hungry, a bit more tired. They're just a bit more over it. I think it's going to be even more explosive. They're not going to hold back. So what does Sharon do? Does Sharon mix things up and actually tell everyone what they've been saying? Because what if there's someone who's playing the game who's actually nominated a friend? Does Sharon then tell that person? That's what I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah. Oh. Well, we know from Sharon that she doesn't hold back. We also know from Sharon, I've not seen any kind of strategic
No, she just
approach
that's what I love
from
about
her.
her. She just says it how it is. She just is saying what a lot of us at home are thinking as well. She just seems to be. I don't know about you, but I just am like, yes, Sharon, yes. I just agree with her with everything.
It was funny last night. My husband, he doesn't really watch telly, but did watch The Traitors. Said, "Oh, is this challenge here with the bad cop? Is this Big Brother trying to be like The Traitors?" And I was like, babes, no. Sorry, you're exposing yourself here. But I do wonder whether the traitorization of all of us has made us all suspect that, something's going on when maybe it isn't.
Yeah. And I imagine they're just always on their guard about everyone all the time.
Maybe Ekin is still in that traitor's mindset.
Yeah, probably
and that's
she is.
why
she was shouting
she's being
blood
so
on the dance floor. She'd rather murder on the dance floor. Blood.
Yeah. So maybe it's not Ekin being fake. It's just that she's now conditioned to traitor everything.
Yeah.
It's just so much to think about.
Yeah. The clown was a personal highlight of mine last night. That's what I wanted to add. The clown played a blinder.
Yeah, just flashback
Being
to your
whipped
weekend.
around.
Being whipped.
Yeah. Whipped around. It was just the way that Zizi dragged it across just to quickly pull it into the bathroom and go down that chute.
No,
was
I know.
It a chute? No, just a secret
Sort
door,
of a little
wasn't
secret
it?
door, yeah.
Yeah, that was pure brilliance.
I know, I loved it. So we'll be back tomorrow.
Yes.
With our
And
big
we'll
verdict.
know who's been nominated.
Breakdown's big verdict. I'm going to trademark it.
Do it.
Makes notes, trademark drinking game.
Drinking game. I feel like we could. Yeah, we're going to have a Prosecco when we're next watching it.
Obviously,
the shops.
please drink responsibly.
Yes. Yeah,
when you're
should
playing
say
the
that.
Big Brother Breakdown drinking game, get yourself something nice and non-alcohol, a mocktail. And we'll be back for that.
See you then.
You see, I'm not just a pretty face.